All right.
Hey, everybody, welcome to What Drives Us. I am your host, Tony Schaefer, and this is episode 358. Right, 358. Russell's over there, sorry for me, because I tend to forget these things. Today is Wednesday, March the 18th, social distancing day number, what are we up to, like 5 now? What, it depends on who
It's
you
2 for me.
are. It's like
Yeah,
4
I
for
start
me.
my coronation today.
Yeah, all right.
Corona
Changed your latitude. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Do we get
so
sponsorship dollars for that? I'm just
Did you put
curious.
that one of the beers on the desk? Yeah.
I think so. I think we should, at the very least. Yes.
We have a sponsor. Thank you.
I'm
sure they would appreciate it.
I think there's probably nothing. There's nothing anybody should. There's nothing else anyone should be doing if they are staying home than watching our show. That's all I'm saying. And I don't understand why people are so misguided that we don't have millions of views yet. But,
Yes, it is the
whatever.
best way to stay disease free.
Yes, right? All right, so I'm going to kick it off by introducing my co-host and wingman on the show in the bottom left corner of America. He is my friend, Mr. Russell Frost.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Hello, everyone from chilly and very damp San Diego, where we're experiencing high temperatures in the low 60s and lots of rain. And all I do is worry about my baby hummingbirds in the backyard.
Oh,
I realize that's all off topic, but so hello, and that's it. Welcome to another great show.
All right, well, then I'm going to move on to probably the most grounded panelist we have tonight, social media main dude of the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association, Mr. Patrick Connor.
Grounded. That's the reference right there.
Yeah.
All right, so tonight, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, I'm belated, wearing a green shirt, and I've got Fremont Dark Star. I don't know if you can see that there.
Nice.
And yeah, from you'll notice it says, even though it's Fremont Brewing, they're from Seattle, Earth.
Uh-huh.
So for any of you Tesla fans out there, why do you think Fremont Dark Star might be something that I'm drinking tonight?
In honor of the city. Are you serious?
So
because you love Fremont?
Yeah, so yeah, Fremont Factory, obviously, and Dark Star was the code name for the original Roadster. And then White Star was the code name for the Model S, and Blue Star for the Model 3. And it's also a really cool old sci-fi show, Dark Star.
It was. Dark Star is a great movie.
Yep.
A cartoon.
So for all of you out there who don't know me, I am an electric car advocate. I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. I have been driving electric since 2007. Long time now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Well, I'm going to keep moving along and kick it over to our friend on the right side, going from Russell on the left all the way over to the right side. Long time hypermiling champion with his own YouTube channel, Mr. Casey Green.
Hello, everybody. I'm joining you from self-quarantine and having a blast with everybody. I had a video scheduled to come out that our fine folks in Fremont, and they released 2 new updates on me, so I had to kind of can that. So I've got another one in the works that I will get out over the weekend, hopefully. But excited to be here.
All right. Yeah, great. Thanks, Casey. And Mark is our far north panelist. Chevy Bolt driver, plug-in enthusiast. He is Mark Coughlin.
He's a little muted.
Oh no, Mark has no audio. His lips are moving, but there's no noise.
If I can read,
let's all fill in for what he's saying.
If I can read his lips, he's saying,
Let's see.
yes, it's hockey night in Canada. Wait, no, it's not. He's saying, "I wish
He's
we
saying he
had as
enjoys his
good a
healthcare that we
leader
don't
as
have.
you do." Let's close the southern border. I think I just saw that. So while Mark's working on his audio, I'm going to kick it over to electric car aficionado, professional, a video professional, Georgia McKenzie, who just dropped out.
Oh
Oh no!
Apparently, if there's
And
no Mark,
Mark.
there's no Georgia. I'm
Yeah.
not going to start any rumors, but they left together.
This panel's getting smaller by the second.
Yeah,
Georgia, are
I'm
you back?
back.
Welcome
Hey,
back.
Georgia.
Georgia's back. Say hi,
Got a
Georgia.
different avatar now.
Hello, all.
Oh, video.
Oh,
Hello.
All right, good to see. We can see you now.
Yeah, I had to fix the video.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to kick off.
Testing.
Yay!
There you go.
I
There
want
we
to kick
go.
off the show by introducing our friend up north, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. We decided to close off the northern border today, and just that's it. We're locked down. We have our own wall now, only allowing through transport trucks and commercial traffic as of
There
today.
goes my chance to make a break for Canada.
That's it. You're done. Yeah, no more
Aw.
recreation in Canada, guys, until this
There goes
whole
my retirement
fiasco
plan.
is over.
The problem
Yeah.
with the big break is it makes it really easy to shoot us.
Welcome
Wait,
to the
wait.
show, everyone.
Wait, does this mean we have to keep all those drunken Canadian teens in Florida?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it. They gotta stay there. Yeah, sorry.
We don't
they
want
can
them
stay.
to listen.
Sorry.
Well, we are running low on supplies.
Eat the young.
You know what? I plan on self quarantine myself to what is it? Nunavut.
Yeah.
None of it.
Because I think
That is
that
not
might
a problem, Tony. Everyone in none of it is self-quarantined.
exactly. Mission accomplished, right there. Yeah.
How much more America do you want? None of it. I'm
None of
going
it.
there.
Okay, there you have it. Yeah. All right. So, Casey is going to start off with a story from the European Union.
Yes. So we've been talking about how EVs have been increasing their market share very slowly. However, Switzerland has decided to shake it up a little bit, and they are now, for the first 2 months of the year, at 8% penetration, which is incredible because
Wow.
we're at 2% here in the States, and
Yeah.
Canada's
Yeah.
similar.
Approaching the tipping point. We got to get over that.
Yes.
And yeah,
And
not
they were-
only is it
They
Oh,
were
go
at 5.5% last year, so this is an incredible three and change percent, well, almost 3% increase. So keep it up, Switzerland. And they their top 10 vehicles. You have the Renault Zoe, the Tesla Model 3, the BMW i3, the Volvo XC60 plug-in hybrid, the Hyundai Kona EV, the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, and the BMW 225 XE Active Tourer, BMW X5 PHEV. Number 9 was Nissan Leaf, and number 10 was the Porsche Cayenne plug-in hybrid. And down at number 20 was my vehicle, the Tesla Model X.
Oh, wow. I'm really surprised it's that low.
Well,
I
it's
know
a big
an
car in a
expensive
small
vehicle,
country.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Yeah, the Zoe is like the perfect,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Good point.
What I find interesting here in it's the Inside EVs article
Oh, yes.
is
yes.
they list the first 20, and then they conclude it with others, and others. Okay, so the Renault Zoe was the number one selling at 477 year to date.
Mhm.
All the others are 701. Now,
I didn't even notice that. Dave. Go ahead, sorry.
what Casey said, the Tesla Model X was 20th, and it sold 53, which means there had to have been a lot of others if none of them sold more than 53, but combined they sold 700.
Wow. Yeah, good point. Yeah, what even could they be?
They have a better selection.
Yeah, that's the first thing to say is that it's awesome that there's so many options.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that 10 years ago we did not have. So that's really awesome to see.
Yeah.
How many used iMeves could they have snuck in from like or something? You know,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
or
think cities or
right. I was just gonna say, think City. What's the other one?
Aptera.
Oh,
Yeah.
The rebrand
never
of the
made it.
Leaf and the rebrand of the iMove. Yeah.
The new Karma.
Yeah.
Karma.
Yeah.
old karma.
So, I mean, that is great. The one issue I will take, and I think this is a bit of opinion, is the mentioning here, Switzerland, what did they say? They have no significant incentives, just a huge wealth accumulated over centuries.
They call them old money.
Which
Wow.
gives the impression that all of the Swiss are walking around with his. Okay, I work for a Swiss company, Swiss German company. I've been to Switzerland several times over the last decade. I can assure you that this is. I mean, sure, when you're in the large cities, but no, most of it's Switzerland. I just felt that. I read
It's
that,
always
and
not super expensive, right? I mean, it's about the same price as a Leaf.
I don't even know.
It's not a high-end vehicle.
They can't.
But yeah, if when the world does their offshore banking in Switzerland, they get a few extra bucks falling out.
What the bankers do, but the farmers out on the tilling the land, and besides, when people offshore to Switzerland, the people who keep the money there don't actually live there. They
Right,
live
now
here and they
those
hide it
bankers
there.
can afford to
But-
go to the organic
don't want
farmers
the
market
tax
and pay a little extra.
and
they
pick up a
can't all
Zoe
be-
while they're at it.
Right? They can't all be rich, otherwise who'd fight in the army?
Well, at least
I mean, aside
8%
from
of them
everybody
are
that's a
rich.
citizen.
Yeah, it was only 8% of vehicle sales. right?
No, well, everyone does 2 years of civil service in Switzerland, either in the army or if they can't, or if they're pacifists, they do civil service elsewhere. But yeah. Anyway, side note.
That's pretty cool.
But anyway, this is a great thing, and a little more research needs to be done into how it jumped 2.5% in 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, without incentives. Yeah, something's going on
The
there.
gas tax went up, and they fixed it themselves.
Maybe.
And, if the Model Y turns out as popular as I hope and think it will be, then I think that's going to help boost worldwide EV adoption by at least another 2 or 3%.
Hey, if you're in Switzerland watching this, hearing our voices, let us know what the heck happened in Switzerland. Why is this?
Oh,
why is
that'd
there
be
a jump?
cool. Yeah.
What can we do
Yeah.
to make that happen here?
Yes. We all want to know that secret.
Absolutely.
How do we get everyone to offshore their money to the United States?
We need it now.
Well, I actually meant purchase more EVs, but okay.
Tony was a little off on that, George.
I didn't realize that.
The rest of us got it. He's a little slow.
So, on the up.
Just send your money to me. We'll put it to good use. I promise.
George will gladly hold it for you.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
take good care of it.
Venmo, her PayPal, her Cash App, whatever. Those are all fine.
To have a big room like Scrooge McDuck where you just like dive into it, just like swim around. All right. So I want to move on to a story that I wanted to bring up because I felt that I just think Russell doesn't talk about Elon Musk enough. And I want to give him the opportunity.
What was
I
the
want
first thing I
Russell to-
said when I saw that story? Yeah.
I know, he wants to bask
I'm
in the
getting
glory.
ready for a Russell Pat fight. Here it comes. I don't even know
All
what the
right,
topic is yet.
There it goes. So 2 years ago, and honestly, we were I don't want to say praising, but we were on board with this when it was announced. But 2 years ago, Tesla installed a huge battery in Australia. And it was not long before that huge battery was already jumping in and helping out the Australian grid. Now, this was in South Australia, and I think they said it was only about like 1.5 million people. And I say only, but in the grand scheme of big cities and other things, it's a nice test bed for something like this. And so what this article in Popular Mechanics does is kind of goes back. It tells a little bit of the history, and then talks about how 100 megawatts and the battery absorbs brief blips from the grid so that if there's a hiccup in the regular grid, the battery kicks in, and it has been able to flatten out the grid. The blackouts and brownouts are all but gone. They're in the past. And even the, I don't know, what do you call him, Prime Minister of Australia, the guy who was pretty much hated because he was blaming green tech for causing the blackouts, even though they were absolutely unrelated. He's eating crow because he was so against this, and now everyone in Australia is saying, I want one of those. So I mean, that's it. It's just we're looking back 2 years and we're saying this huge battery has proven what we've been saying for years, which is battery storage that can accept energy from wind and solar and store it and then feed it back when it's needed. Or even take peaker plants off the grid so that they don't have to spin up these usually very dirty oil burning peaker plants when all the citizens are asking for air conditioning, for example, in the middle of the summer day. These battery packs, they should be deployed in much greater numbers around the world for municipalities. Businesses should have them, and municipalities should have them, and yeah, can't say enough about that.
Yeah, when you have storage, it's a whole lot easier to get your grid beyond, say, 20% renewable. And the peaker plants, if you have a spike that's unexpected, they don't respond instantaneously like a battery can. They take seconds to spin up, which is why you were having brownouts. I mean, it makes perfect sense to have. I like to think about it like as an energy cache. And if you didn't have a cache in your processor, it would perform a lot worse. And that's sort of what this provides to the grid, is something that allows it to respond instantaneously to unexpected demands. It's great. And Tesla's this battery has more than paid for itself in a relatively short period of time, which is exactly what utilities are looking for. So that's awesome. Yeah. 2 years later, the experiment's done, and the results were great and should be duplicated.
I want one of these.
I've ordered 3 of the Powerwalls for my house. Yeah. It's kind of on hold due to the current public health issue, but yeah.
I think that say a power pack or a small, either the what do they call the mega pack? Yeah.
Yeah, the new big one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for some of these larger businesses, hotels, skyscrapers, that would be a much better choice for a building UPS because it monitors its health. It doesn't all of a sudden just die in the middle of a crisis, and you had no idea that, hey, the thing in between our generator and our building power has been dead for 6 months. It actually lets you know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even if you're just doing energy arbitrage, charging it up overnight, using it in the morning, avoiding peaks, that'd be great.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so many uses for small, medium, and large customers. Like we were saying just last week, PG&E is now putting in that large plant in Southern California to eliminate a number of peaker plants. Halifax, Nova Scotia has a small one. Australia, of course, with the large one and growing. So it's definitely been proven. And what's nice to see, it's being proven in multiple different jurisdictions. So more and more people are getting exposed to it. More and more utilities understand how it works and where the benefits are. So I think there's a bright future in it, especially with batteries getting more and more dense and becoming more and more cost effective. It just seems that things are going to get better for this this type of installation.
We need to get these in hospitals.
There's another weird little side effect. I didn't realize this until I started looking at the South Australia pack. That when you are having a problem meeting the energy demand, you can actually have frequency slowdowns. I knew about voltage sags. That's obvious. I mean, I'm wearing this shirt. I should understand that. But I didn't realize you can also have changes in frequency, and that's actually what the Tesla battery is triggering off of, because the frequency changes are an early indicator, and so they're able to respond in milliseconds. So it's really incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be great at the hospitals. You can not just have the battery backup, but also you can kill those generators because they are not healthy to have around. Most of them run the cheapest fuel oil diesel you can find, and
Diesel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's
I
not
mean,
exactly what you want around people who are in a sensitive health state.
Right. Yeah.
No, you are exactly right that they do literally burn the cheapest fuel they can find. Again, one of the benefits, if you want to call it that, of my job, learning how, how they operate and helping find efficiencies and greening up businesses and things. And they literally do. If coal is cheaper this month or this year, then they will buy the cheap coal. And if oil is cheaper, they will buy barrels of oil. They literally burn the cheapest fuel they can find, regardless of environmental impact.
Right. Yep. That's why we were talking about what's really nice is when renewables get cheaper, the economic implications of that are huge. So there are a certain percentage, maybe a small minority of people that will do the right thing for the right reasons, and other people that will just do whatever's cheapest and they don't care. And so when that changes, that's going to be a huge change for our entire economy, our entire planet, for everybody, for our public health. It's going to be awesome. The green revolution is going to happen.
Keep waiting. I just keep waiting. Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest problems with the adoption of this technology has been proper storage, because we gain a lot of energy, just sheer sunshine falling on the land, but we can't store it without a lot of loss or not able to get it out in time. And as you talked about the access times to the battery and how this was an improvement over what used to be there, that was always a problem. So if we can get that technology deployed and improved, that would be something great here. And the biggest problem we have is that, so damn cheap.
Yeah.
It's like, we want to be able to have the improvement and to have the sustainability and pay 5 cents.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And every time I see people putting off the improvement and saying, well, but it's so expensive right now. And it's like, when did it get cheaper in the future?
Yeah.
'Cause that doesn't happen.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then you got all these politicians that like to point out, oh, the sun doesn't shine at night, and the wind doesn't blow consistently,
the
blah blah blah.
question.
And then you got a place to
Well,
put the energy.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
and then,
true, but I've sat through an awful lot of local government meetings, and I can tell you that for the same granola hippie types who also happen to have 2 houses,
Yeah.
they pull a lot of the same argument. It's not that they don't want it; they just don't want to pay for it,
Yeah,
and that's a big problem because we've really kind of stopped seeing these kinds of advancements as community focused, a positive good that's long term, even if we don't get the benefit right away. And
Right.
and that's something we used to have more sense of as a nation, and I feel like we've kind of lost that.
Yeah. Sometime in my
totally
lifetime,
agree.
we went quarter to quarter. Sometime in my lifetime,
Yeah.
instead of long term. Yeah.
Oh, I know why.
Right.
Greed is good.
do you guys,
The Wall Street
but,
movie.
swinging back to the Tesla battery in Australia, do you remember how much Australia paid to have this battery installed?
It's 116 million, something like that.
Yeah, 116 million Australian, 76 million American dollars.
And
Oh,
it wasn't in
yeah.
40 days. They got it free, but it was in 40 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think the big problem with that, like my only issue with that, it's basically 2 billionaires having like a little bet. This is like Satan and
Mortimer.
God having a little bet.
Right. Well,
about
see,
Job.
but
Trading
see, okay, so
places. Yeah,
that brings me back to I didn't ask how much it cost. I asked how much did Australia pay for the batteries?
Oh, they're net profit now.
Yeah.
Because Australia didn't pay for the batteries.
Yeah.
It was a private billionaire who knew it was the right thing to do and challenged Musk to do it. Australia didn't pay for it. I'm willing to bet that if Bill Gates said, I have $150 billion and I'm going to install a solar farm, or Jimmy Carter, oh, oops, he did, the United States would be more than happy to reap the benefits. I mean, this gets back to what Georgia was saying. You know, you got people that's like, well, I don't want to pay for it. It's too expensive. And in this case, it took one person to step up and prove why this was a good idea.
But not just any one person, the one billionaire. Let's just
Well,
be clear, because
owned the
otherwise
wind farm.
there'd be a lot of people stepping up, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach a little far back for me since I wasn't around for that part of human history, but Jimmy Carter did install solar power on the White House, and what did Reagan do? Came in and took it down. Unfortunately, we hit like a level of animus that even something that is a net good, even if you don't think it's all that great, people will dismantle just for the sheer. I don't like that idea. I don't like that ideology. I don't like that person. They are different than me, and I don't know. It's literally just, we're just kind of sitting around shooting ourselves in the face when it comes to
true. Yeah,
just doing something good.
I'll throw out a good idea if it's proposed by someone I don't like. Wait, no, come on. I just want to prove my tribalism, so I will oppose anything without even thinking about it. It's ridiculous, but human nature, sadly.
The only good thing that came out of that solar panel removal is it ended up on a university, and they are still in use today. The way that they described it, on both sides of the argument, is as if Reagan ripped them off and threw them in the garbage. And as a child, that messed me up. It was disheartening.
Just wasteful.
Yeah. So then when I found out that they at least didn't throw them away, I was like, whoa. And then I found out they were still in use. That's amazing.
Yeah, and there was solar hot water and PV. So
yes.
Yeah, both. Yeah, and I got solar panels before I got my electric car. I got solar panels, and in 2007, and that 4 kilowatt system that I have now is working just as well today as it was back then. I haven't, over the 13 years, seen any significant degradation, which is awesome. Wow. And I added 8 more kilowatts, so now I'm up to 12. But yeah, that original 4 is on its own inverter and still working great.
Yeah, awesome.
And I have some batteries.
Just has to challenge Elon Musk to a duel.
Yeah.
Far.
I bet you can put these in 2 days, Elon.
Russell.
Russell. Yeah.
I'm up for that.
Russell will duel him with the hand arms.
No, we don't want a firearm duel. No, not that sort of duel. No.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Russell, and once Russell pays for $150 million, $1 billion in solar panels, I think he's going to buy a new bike. Is that right?
Well, I'm not going to buy this bike, but there's a company in the UK, and I'm not sure if it's Super Socko or Super Soco. I'm going to call it Super Socko because that sounds like a really silly name. But as most of you are aware, as I'm an EV lover, but I'm primarily a 2-wheel lover, so I eagerly await any announcement of a
wheelhouse, definitely.
Yeah, that is definitely my wheelhouse, and I look at any viable 2-wheel EV as exciting. So there's a company called Super Socko in the UK that is making a series of actually nice looking little motorcycles, and they start at like 2,500 pounds and go up. If you buy the big deluxe one, I think it's 42.49 pounds. Again, not dollars, not euros.
Even converted, that's affordable though.
Yeah.
It's reasonable. Now, this is not a super fast bike. It is not the Zero. It is not the Tesla of motorcycles. But what it is inexpensive, reliable, and very, very cheap to operate. And it doesn't look like a dorkmobile. It looks like it's a nice looking little motorcycle. They compare it power-wise to a 50cc kind of moped. So we're talking 30, 45 miles an hour top speed. A fairly low range. But again, in the UK, smaller place, smaller roads, much more congestion. And something like this is very, very good for that. We need these solutions. We need more solutions. We need Super Socko here in the US. I'd love to ride one of these bad boys and see what it's like. So that was it. Just a little cheer. You can find them at Super Socko. That's supersoco.co.uk. If you're in the UK, check them out. Take a test ride and let us know. Maybe post in our comments at youtube.com/whatdrivesus. tell us what you think. Now, what do you guys think? Does it look? Is it?
I think
cool?
they should. I think they should send one to you, and you should do a video review of it. I think that'd be awesome for our channel. Yeah.
I would love to see my gray fat
I
ass.
endorse Russell get himself on the bike.
Yeah.
I noticed they also have a. Go ahead.
They look like one of the old style of bike. I forget what it's called.
Who are you talking about? Old style?
Was that your nickname now? Old style?
No, but I mean, it's like it is sort of that older cruiser style motorcycle. It's not the not the Ninja. It's not a flat track bike. So I like that style. It's a more comfortable ride. I'm fat and old. That's why I have a BMW. Okay. So I'll admit it.
I'm also liking their
waiting for a
CUX.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3
No, I like the design. The scooter's cute.
Yeah, the CUX Ducati edition.
Yeah,
for just 2,400 pounds. Cute. Yeah,
and it has you can put in battery modules, so you could have like an extra battery to charge if you wanted. And I mean, it's a cool idea. And again, we need these. This is a bridge in between the little crappy Lime $1 a mile scooter and a regular EV for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. This is just something else to give people with a little less money a nice sustainable option.
Yep.
I feel like I'm like all of a sudden they should send me a check.
Sounds turned into an ad for them, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean,
put one in the crate and
boards just went bankrupt. There's a certain demographic that's never going to ride a skateboard, no matter how great it is. It's just not going to happen. And the same is true with two-wheelers. There's certain people that are never going to ride it, but it's a bigger audience. So I hope they are successful. I hope they come to the U.S. and go to other countries. That'd be great.
Sure. I mean, look are you guys familiar with Zebra?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only Zebra
it's been a while since I heard
Zap
Zebra.
Zebra.
Yeah.
So Zebra makes a cute little scooter, like the small 50cc style, very small, but it's electric. It goes like 30 miles an hour. It's got like a 30-mile range or something, but it costs $99 a month. Nothing else. $99 a month. You rent it month to month.
Oh.
You see them all over the place down here. Now, again, California, that works really well. But imagine the idea of like, hey, they're dirt cheap to insure. They're dirt cheap to own. You don't have to qualify for a loan. If you've got $100, you have mobility. That's important.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So they could bring some.
These are the same people who made the three-wheeled pill thing, right?
I don't know.
The what?
There was a EV a couple years ago. I want to say the early 2000s. It looked like a pill, and it had 3 wheels, and people would flip them over.
Like, no, I
think it was a zebra, but some of them had zebra stripes on them, which was.
Oh no, there was a 3-wheeled something. It was like a scooter.
Yeah, my ex had one.
Oh wow. Russell's muted.
Forgot what that was. Yeah.
It was he used to mock me because I really could never remember the name. It was like a Chucky or something.
A Chucky.
Yeah, I forgot because I really liked him.
I saw the sequel
thought
to that one. Yeah.
That was really neat. Yeah.
But it was like he loved his e-vehicle. I had a trike that I was hoping to adapt to electric, but did not do that. But yeah, there was a wide range of weird looking motors and scooters on the market back then.
Yeah. That's okay.
So Casey brought a Twitter video. Speaking of where can we ride our motor scooters?
Ooh.
Do you have that pulled up that you can
I
show
do.
the video? Here it is. All right.
This is from a gentleman that goes by John in New York City. His Twitter handle, I don't want to say it aloud because it might get us a strike.
It's just John.
Yes, it's just John. So he's self-isolating, and this is what he found in New York City.
Looks like New York City on Christmas Day.
Wow.
This is like 28 days later.
Yeah.
Right? If
Yeah,
you ever wanted to
that's
film
closer to what it looks
something
like.
in New York City with empty streets, this is your chance. Go, go, go.
Mhm.
No, they,
So here's Johnny.
But maintain social distancing.
Right. Wow. Yeah, you'd never expect to see that.
Yeah.
Well, all we need to do is release a killer virus, and then we can. I mean, and speaking of that, has anybody noticed the clean air numbers in
Yeah.
Well, maybe in
Everywhere.
California. I check them.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
LA's
I
air
saw-
hasn't been this clean in like 100 years.
Right. I saw a report about the air over Italy and how much it had improved in the last
Mhm.
week. It's incredible.
and
this-
Venice.
And in
Yeah.
Venice, yeah,
Water
Yeah,
Georgia.
around the world. This is great, and from that perspective.
From that
and
perspective.
yeah, it's from a limited perspective. But maybe there are a lot of people that could work from home more often. I work from home 3 days a week. So for me to work from home 5 days a week was not that big of a change for me. And a lot of my coworkers really don't need to work in the office 5 days a week. They just do it because that's what they think they're expected to do. And 4 years ago, I said, I'm going to work from home 3 days a week and fire me if you want. And they were like, no, that's fine. We need you. So great. And it's worked out beautifully. So yeah, more people should, even after this is all over with, think about what you can do to not commute so much, because it's great for everybody.
Yeah.
Less
yeah.
traffic, less energy use. It's awesome.
I
Maybe
know
with
that
the
my-
next couple weeks, we will all meet our targets for the Paris Accord.
It's getting it wrapped up early.
Yes, this
There's
is all a
that.
conspiracy to
By the
make the
French.
Kyoto and Paris
Mhm.
Accords.
Right.
And
There's
the
really
sort
no
of
virus at all. It's just a conspiracy.
the sort of ugly counterpoint to everyone, wow, look at all the clean air, isn't it nice to see the mountains, is that oil went down to $18 a barrel. Canadian
Mhm.
crude allegedly down just over $7 a barrel. That's cheaper than a 6-pack of beer.
Oh, wait,
Buy one
that's
now
like-
for
barrel
I
of oil.
don't know why you say that's
No.
on the other side. So that's actually a
But-
good thing, because the cheaper that oil is per barrel, that means that the hard to get to oil is not economically feasible. So
That is a good thing.
yes,
No
exactly.
shale oil.
Yeah,
But-
so that takes shale off, that takes deep water off, that knocks down all those. That's awesome.
Sure. Until everybody starts making big trucks and wanting a 6-pack, not a what? I don't even know.
Yeah.
My concern is always when there's cheap gas, everybody says, "Hey, it's time to pull the Hummer out of the garage."
Yeah.
I didn't see Hummers on the road for years, and in
Yeah,
the last
yeah.
year, I see Hummers constly now.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
is
And the-
$2 a gallon gas, California.
Who's gonna
I know,
build it?
and I'm looking at the other, unfortunately, the other side, which is yes, we've seen pollution go down, we've seen the air get cleaner, we've seen the water get better. Unfortunately, what I'm thinking is the amount of single-use items that are being consumed and thrown away now and in the after effect. I just imagine that there's a lot of trash being generated.
How so?
Like Starbucks won't take your reusable cups anymore because of the concerns.
Oh. Yeah.
And yeah,
I think that's kind of being evened out though with the lack of activity that's actually happening in the restaurant sector. I think there's a lot less people that are getting that daily Starbucks because they're not going to work,
yeah.
they're not traveling. I think that it probably more than evens out because of the amount of people that are not doing their daily routines anymore.
Yeah, if
That's a
they're cooking
good
at home,
point,
they're using
yeah.
less stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
packaging.
yeah. Or, and hear me out, rather than everyone using the collective office energy, everyone's now individual home energy has gone up.
Yeah.
Is that possible? I'm not saying that's a fact, and I'm not saying I have any science behind it. I'm just wondering.
Well, in my
It's
case with
certainly
the
quite
solar, it's
possible.
great. Yeah.
Well, okay, yes, with the solar, that's awesome. But remember, what's the penetration of solar on a house here? Most people don't have that. So I'm just wondering. I mean, could that be a thing? Could we see overall energy usage going up because we're not collective anymore?
Well, at the
Or
same
at least
time,
right
though,
now.
they hopefully the people at home have a more reasonable set point than the folks who are required to wear a three-piece suit in the office, where they have unreasonable set points for the HVAC.
Wow,
But-
you
Right.
really
It's
wear
different
those,
if you're
those
the one
rosy
paying the
glasses,
bill
don't you?
versus the boss.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm the one that goes into people's homes and I'm shocked that they keep their thermostat at 73 degrees
Year round.
all winter.
Yeah.
Oh no, 73 in the winter, like 65 in the
True.
summer. Yeah.
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 What's wrong with that?
Uh-huh.
Well, you've got the solar, so it's fine. But
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, and then, so another fallout of all of this, we were talking about people staying home. And, many people are fortunate in that, and I'm one of them, we can work from home almost uninterrupted. And there are some people who are forced to stay home, and unfortunately, they're not working. And some of those people end up being, here an article from Detroit, the clickondetroit.com, and they are announcing that Ford, General Motors, FCA, Fiat Chrysler, I forget what the A is, Automotive.
Alliance?
Yeah.
Fiat
Alliance.
Chrysler Alliance?
Okay, Fiat
FCA?
Chrysler. FCA, they are shutting down their plants. And they are doing that relatively immediately. And it says
yes.
here.
I'm sorry, I want to interrupt because like earlier when I said, hey, everybody should try to work from home, there's only certain jobs you can do that. And I didn't want, if you have a job and where they're shutting it down like this and you're getting sent home and you can't work, I really feel for you. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just horrible. So yeah, don't take my smug remarks as, oh, everybody should work from home. I know not everybody has that type of job, and I just realized as you point this out, Tony, that I might have come off in kind of a elitist mode, and I apologize for that.
yeah, like my
Oh,
sister's place is it's fashion retail. They tried to do the right thing. They sent everybody home, and of the three classes of workers they have, the full time and the part time are going to continue to get paid, but what they call associates, they're out. They're on their own.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. But I mean, I understand that the money's not there to do it. So that's what makes it harder.
Don't worry, Patrick. I mean, I don't think anyone, felt that Mr. I have solar and I have 3 batteries was even coming off the smug.
Okay, yeah, you're just confirming that I was right. Yes, thank you.
No, I don't think anybody's gonna look. If you want to take offense, you can. I know you, Patrick, and I know you didn't mean it that way. But let's be clear. One of the things this is forcing us to do is look at something that most companies have rejected out of hand for bad reasons or no reason at all, which is how much of our workforce can work remotely at home. Mm-hmm. How much of them can get off the highway burning gas and stay at home, reducing maybe other childcare costs, who knows what. Now they're forced to do this. So hopefully one of the things as we come out the other end, the people that can work at home will maybe get to continue to doing that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Of course we don't,
meet in the office once a week instead of 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah.
Right. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Tesla is experimenting with allowing people to work from home. This from Jalopnik. Yeah.
The story on Jalopnik, yes, which could have been on The Onion, yes.
I know.
It's about that far away.
It's pretty close. Okay.
Well, but speaking of
building a car in your living room.
Yeah.
How about Elon flipping the bird to Alameda County, saying we're going to make cars anyway? Up yours.
So, Casey can tell you the rest of the story. As Russell, you're old enough to know that reference. Who is that? Paul Harvey, right?
Paul Harvey. Yeah.
Good day.
Well, Elon loves it when there's conflicting authorities telling him what to do and what not to do. Right. Because he'll just do what he wants to do. Pick the one that says what he wants.
The one that agrees with him, and he'll say, "Yeah, that's what he said."
And that's what every child does. Mom says no, ask dad.
Yeah, right. And that's exactly what Tesla Fremont did this morning. And so the sheriff's office is like, "No, you're not essential. Blah blah blah. You need to shut down." And thankfully, clearer heads prevailed, and Tesla and the sheriff's office came to an agreement, and it was somewhere in between where the other authorities had already said, hey, it's okay, you're essential, stay open. And so Inside EVs is reporting that they're going to cut their workforce by 75%. Everybody else will be mandatory stay at home. And so there'll be still some operations going on in Fremont, thankfully.
Right, that was a nice compromise. So he didn't just totally give them the finger. He only gave them 25% of the finger.
No, he gave them the whole finger last night. But there is more to the story, which is since then the sheriff's office has actually clarified that and said they're not supposed to be making cars. They're supposed to be keeping the lights on, keeping the thing going. So the whole 75-25 thing isn't as important as saying you can't make cars. You can't have all those people there.
Right, but you can make parts for repairs because that's vital to people who need their car to do their business.
Especially since they're the only outlet. So now if they stop, then now all these taxis and patient transport and everything else that's done in a Tesla, aside from people just going to and from work and being doctors and lawyers and stuff, they can't do their stuff because the only parts plant is shut down.
Somehow I knew where this was going to go, and my final word on this is going to be, it's all fun and games until people start dropping dead.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why the other people that we mentioned earlier all shut their plants down. So hopefully they can do a good job screening, and whatever they learned from their Shanghai factory, they can bring it, or Shanghai, their Beijing factory, they can bring it back to the U.S. and keep up that level of safety, because now they have firsthand experience versus some of our compatriots here in this country.
But if one person tests positive, it's shutting down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully their sanitation policies have been transmitted and they are working. If they're not, you said, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, but remember, how many times have we heard that, your sanitation policies are only as good as the dirtiest person you bump into all day long?
Exactly.
With social distancing, you should not bump into anyone, Tony.
I'm home right now because who knows?
Yeah, but you got to get to and from. So assuming those people are getting into their Model X's with their biohazard filters.
Right. I was practicing social distancing before it was cool.
I know, right? Yeah.
my wife is saying how much she this social distancing thing resonated with her. Yeah. And one trip to Costco pretty much reinforced all of that.
I do want to point out that with frequent hand washing and staying at home, it's free to touch your face. Don't do that.
If you feel like touching your face, go wash your hands. Stay somewhere secure, and then enjoy.
If you wash your hands enough, even Joe Biden can sniff your hair. I was waiting for Patrick to take a sip. I really was.
Go political. Oh no.
I want to finish the show on one positive note of something good that is coming out, and Mark is going to bring us home with a story about Hyundai. Say it with me.
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Yes, indeed. A little Canadian content. The Hyundai has opened its plant in the Czech Republic and is now producing almost double of the Kona EVs. So they're producing about 2,900 now per week, which will be about 38,000 during a given year. So it has been the Kona has been a widely sought after vehicle, and that has resulted in shortages across North America and Europe. And this plant to double production that we spoke about that was being built has finally opened and are now shipping cars. So if you're on the list for a Kona, hopefully you're getting a call from your dealership that they're starting to get new models in. So hats off to Hyundai for getting this plant open in a timely fashion and producing an EV that a lot of people want.
That's right. And if you're looking for an EV, that's one that you should consider. Just look at it. See, the best car is the one that meets your needs, regardless of anything else. So figure out what it is that you really need, and have it on your shopping list is one you should check out.
Yeah, Mark and I both started with Volts. I mean,
right,
whatever suits you need.
Yeah,
And,
and
you
in
know, yeah.
2011 or whatever, the Volt was an awesome vehicle because there was not a lot of infrastructure at that time. So then a plug-in hybrid might be what's right for you. A full electric, a Nero. There's a lot of options. Check them all out.
And you know, I've been saying for years, Hyundai has just been crushing it with battery, with fit and finish. I had the Kia Niro last year. Absolutely loved that car. I hated giving it back. I haven't yet had the Kona, but this is a car I would love to get my hands on for at least a week.
Right.
There's no wonder.
Right.
It's
In
so
2013,
popular.
I wanted to buy an Outlander, and they just didn't come to the U.S. in time. And otherwise, 2013, 2014, 2015, I would have bought Mitsubishi Outlander as my vehicle. Instead, 2016 came around, and I bought a Tesla Model X, and it's been awesome. So Mitsubishi had their chance, and they missed it.
So this plant, is it Rest of World, or is it running alongside the Korean plant and supplying all the cars for the world?
I do not know that fact.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm skimming and I don't see it, but yeah.
I
So
do not know.
you know,
But this is what
Yeah.
just 1 or 2 months since we first brought it up, where we said they're going to bring up another line in another country.
Yeah,
And
I
here they
think they
are.
were. I think they were underway when we brought the first story up. This wasn't built in
That fast?
2 months. Yeah,
Okay.
It was.
Right.
It's not that quick.
They announced
and I think
strategically.
it was existing. It's an existing plant. It's not like they built the plant, right? They just took over a line.
It's a
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
Yeah. But to double production and to get things up and going that quickly is pretty stellar. So kudos.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
A happy story. Yay!
Yay. Yes. So let's do shout outs and get out of here.
All right.
Or I mean, because I know y'all have
We're not.
places
No
to
one's
go,
going
right?
anywhere, Tony. We're all staying where we are.
We're all sequestered at home. Let's just
All
stay
right.
marathon episode, right?
Longest show ever.
Second beer.
We could do like a
Per hour. Let's
sleepover
do it.
thing, you mean?
No,
I can't even
boy.
imagine like 2 a.m. what this show would be like.
A little drunk.
Telephone episode. We should try
Yeah.
it just for fun.
I don't have to. I know what that's like. I don't have to imagine.
Actually,
that.
it's a work day tomorrow, so yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, today is a work day and my commute is hell. So, you know. All right. So, Patrick, I'm going to ask you first. Any shout outs? Any one last things?
Sure. This Fremont Dark Star was the coffee edition, and I have to say it was excellent. Good stuff. Thank you, Fremont Brewing. And also, if you guys have noticed that it's still light, and normally during this show it would start out light, and by the end of it, it's dark. So depending on what latitude you're at, the equinox is coming or has arrived. So thanks for more hours of sun, and which, as we talked about earlier, I have solar panels, and I'm quite happy to see the extra hours of sunlight. And last but not least, I blog occasionally at cardswithcords.net. You can check it out there. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Yes. Georgia, kicking over to you next. Do you have any shout outs?
Shout out to all my fellow essential employees who had to go into work today.
Oh, man.
I finally got off the essential list. So, but yeah, shout out to everybody who goes into work. Sorry that everyone else has gone mad because they don't have to go into work. But you guys are the real MVPs. You keep us running. You keep us fed. And frankly, I appreciate you.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah,
Here,
you know,
here.
like we're saying, shout out to everyone who has to go in. Yeah, stay safe.
And to all the medical professionals out there who are doing double duty, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
You.
Yeah.
Invisible drink.
We're doing what we
Right.
can to what's flatten the curve, but
Flatten
you're
the curve.
you're still doing the heavy lifting.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right. This show's getting down again. Mark, bring us back up like you did before.
Is that down?
If you're watching the show at this point, please give us a thumbs up. That helps us gets in front of more eyes. We would appreciate that, and certainly press the subscribe button if you haven't already, and that helps us get another number and get in front of more eyes again. So if you do so, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Casey. Anything new on your any new videos?
Yes. So last week I was making a Tesla 2020.8.1 video, and then before the show was over, they launched 2020.8.1.1, which messed me up a little bit. And then a few days later, I got a download to my actual car of 2020.12, and so I've got that in the camera this time on sequestering. I will go ahead and actually hopefully finish that this weekend, and maybe some supercharger reviews from the archives. So,
Unless you get that alert after the show, but 13
Right.
is now available.
right? Well, I have nowhere to go now, so it was a really short review.
That's true. Yep.
And then by from the archives, I mean just stuff I haven't published yet. I've got, oh man, my wife and I did almost the entire Eastern Seaboard over the last 2 years, and we're still catching up.
Yeah, so if you have a Tesla and you're interested in supercharger reviews or Tesla firmware updates reviews, check out Casey's channel. And that is at
YouTube.com/KACEYGREEN.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
And last but certainly not least, Russell. Russell, what do you got?
I got nothing.
All right.
That's so not true. I having already confessed that I've been to Costco in the last 5 days. I want to amplify and extend what Georgia said, which is thanks to all of you that are out there working, so that the rest of us can eat and go to the bathroom. And huge extra double thanks to all the medical professionals that still have to be there because we're all counting on them. We're not anywhere near the peak of this, and we're already seeing a system that is strained. So the people that are out there taking risks, putting up with crazy panic buying assholes, the people at Costco were so nice, everybody, and it was a hell zone, but all the employees there were so nice. I see people online, well, that person at Trader Joe's was mean. It's like, humans. This is bringing out the best and the worst in people. So for those of you that are out there working and probably taking more shit than you deserve, thank you. Thank you so much for that. That's about all I have. But Tony, do you want me to do any of the end stuff, or you got all that?
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll take care of this real quick. If you want to read all the news that we're reading, check us out online, facebook.com/whatdrivesus. If you use Flipboard, look for the What Drives Us magazine. Shout out to Philip Barclay, who helps put news into our Flipboard magazine, who I assume has nothing better to do because now it's just night in Canada. Is that what
is
you
so
have?
not fair. That is so not fair.
Because now that hockey's gone, there's no hockey night in Canada. What do you do there, Mark? You just like sit around and
We stare at blank walls and pretend there's a hockey game on.
Good enough.
But my team always wins when I do that.
Yeah. So here in Chicago, the channel that usually shows all of the Blackhawks games is replaying all of the playoff games from 2010, all the Chicago Blackhawks 2010 Stanley Cup run. So it's actually really fun because we know the outcome, but it's still fun to watch the games.
Outcome before you start watching.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not last year's game. It's 10 years ago. You might,
Right.
some details you probably forgot.
And that's actually true. I mean, we do know they win the cup at the end, but it is fun to see all the old players, all the players we used to root for and whatever. And I want to give one more very heartfelt shout out to a friend of the show, Zachary, who works in the hospitality industry. And that's one group that we've forgot to give a shout out to. Restaurants and bars are being closed. Conference centers are seeing conferences being called off. And a friend of the show, Zachary, is directly affected by this, working in the hospitality industry. And he is one of our direct supporters through Patreon. So thanks, Zachary. And I don't know. I wish I
Pick up
had
to-go
advice
food.
or something.
Support your local restaurants, man. Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
And your comic book stores.
Oh,
independent
yeah.
bookstores. You
Mhm.
need
Okay.
books and games.
I have a
They have
box
curbside
Things
delivery.
from Another World.
Yeah.
My local comic book
Yeah.
store. Things from Another
Yeah.
World. Cool
Yeah.
name.
Nowhere
Alright.
Comics in San Marcos Boulevard here in San Marcos, California. How's that?
Awesome.
Yeah.
A great little store.
And
Awesome.
if anyone knows social distancing, it's the people in the comic book stores. That's
Unfair.
We're
No
still
Feel
blow.
really,
Never.
really attacked on that statement.
what?
So
What?
I'm gonna log off and go kill things in my video game.
See what I mean? You just
Oddly
proved-
enough, Tony, all the things George is going to kill in her video game look exactly like you.
Play Diablo
I can
3
so
myself.
believe that.
Warcraft.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, so so the Georgia can go off and kill things that look like me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I want to thank everyone for being on the show. Thank you to all of our listeners for spending time with us. And I swear to God, if you are still watching or listening to the show an hour in, man, I have props. Yeah, cheers to you. And make sure and visit manthing.com. Go to YouTube and search for Michael Manring. You got nothing better to do. So go
Michael
watch
Manring.
a bunch of Michael Manring
That
videos.
man
You
knows how to
won't
play the
regret it.
bass.
That I
It's
awesome.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shot Michael Manring?
Videos. Shot Michael
Oh.
Manning videos.
Bow,
Okay.
bow,
Mike.
bow,
I
bow.
say this took a turn. Anyway,